Hi, everyone. It's Tina back again today for a new topic on take control of your health. So, if this is our first time meeting, my name is Tina Hergert, and I'm a registered nurse with a passion for helping people uh, understand how to take control of their own health through knowledge. So, I truly believe that most of today's health issues that we face um, really just because people don't know what they don't know. So let's get started. So today, I really want to take a look at the standard American diet. Ironically, the acronym for that is SAD. We'll take a look at some sad and scary facts about what our diet is doing to our health, uh, as well as finding ways to help you identify where your foods come from and why it all matters. So, this is just a brief overview with more specific topic breakdowns to come in future videos. So, let's see here. What you need to know. So, did you know, first of all, that 93 of Amer- 93% of Americans are metabolically unhealthy? What is metabolic health? Metabolic health means normal blood pressure, normal blood sugar, and a healthy cholesterol and weight. So 93% of Americans are metabolically unhealthy. Let that sink in. Also, over 40% of Americans are considered obese. So, the medical definition of obesity is a body mass index greater than 30. Body mass index is also sometimes referred to as a BMI. So, if you see that on any of your health paperwork, your BMI, if that is greater than 30, that is the medical definition of obese. If your BMI is 25 or greater, so between 25 or 30, essentially, you are considered overweight. That basically means that you have an increased number and size of fat cells in your body, and that is considered to be at unhealthy levels. So, obesity is a chronic disease that can lead to serious health problems, as I'm sure many of you have already heard about, including heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and cancer. And in fact, nearly 20% of all of our children in the United States, ages 2 to 19, okay, 2 years old to 19 years old, are considered obese. And one out of every four teenagers has prediabetes or actual type 2 diabetes. That's 25% of our teenagers. So, processed foods account for 63% of all foods consumed in the American diet. And poor diets consisting of the processed and fast foods combined with obesity is the number one contributing factor to developing heart disease, diabetes, and cancer. Did you know that 75% of the world's food, all of the world's food, is generated from only 12 plants and 5 animal species? So our diet is extremely narrow and not all that healthy when you look at the plant and animal species that are included in that. So, one of my favorite quotes: the food you eat can either be the safest and most powerful form of medicine or the slowest form of poison. So, although it is a powerful truth, today's health foods still pale in comparison to what is truly healthy. I do have a video coming up, probably a few videos from now, and I'm going to be talking about being contaminated without consent. And that's exactly what it sounds like. So I hope you look forward to seeing that. But part of that is in conjunction with our foods. So when we're looking at contaminated without consent, we're going to look at the part that foods play in that, as well as the water we drink, the air we breathe, and more. So let me get to the next slide here. The importance of nutrition in your health. So let's face it, why does it matter? I mean, everybody's always talking about nutrition and health and all of these things, but let's face it, we need to know the why. We need to understand. So, first of all, many diseases are a result of poor diet and obesity. These can literally be reversed and even cured just by changing your diet. That's right. Food can literally be used to treat, cure, and even reverse chronic diseases. So, foods are actually capable of turning on and off genes in the body. This is one reason why people who maybe have either allergies or genetic diseases like MS, multiple sclerosis, um, they can have the exact same problem as somebody else, and yet there's a spectrum in which some people have no symptoms and others are completely debilitated. And where that comes in is the environmental factors that we look at. Again, that air, water, food, what we're putting in our body that triggers those genes, and the genes that support those and create those symptoms. So, if you know you have a genetic disease and you don't want to suffer from a lot of those symptoms, be really mindful of what you're putting in your body and how that can actually be a trigger. So, now when I'm talking about all this, I don't want you to think I'm saying, don't eat pizza, don't eat ice cream. I mean, live life, right? We're here to live life. I just want you to keep in mind what I call the 80/20 principle. Okay. So 80% of the food that you eat, make that whole foods, nutritious foods, healthy foods, right? Your fruits, your vegetables, your lean meats, your healthy whole grains. 80% of your diet, make it that. Okay. And that 20%, that's your splurge, right? That's your little ice cream dessert, or maybe that's a brownie, or maybe that's on the weekend going out for dinner with friends or family, and just not worrying about. This isn't about counting calories. This isn't about um, this particular topic isn't even about weight or weight loss. It is about providing your body with the nutrition that it needs to do its job and to be healthy. Okay. At the same time, we don't expect you to be a saint and never have a cookie. Okay. I know I could not do that. So, one thing I want you to also note is that the modern diet is primarily made of corn, wheat, soy, and rice, none of which have adequate nutrients or nutrition. Okay. They're just basically fillers. The other thing that you need to know is that the foods of today are not nearly as nutritious as those that they were decades ago. For example, it takes 21 of today's oranges to have the same nutritional impact as one orange from the 1950s. Iron that is in our meat, iron is essential for us to develop red blood cells and have just a lot of healthy benefits in that. I'm not That's a whole topic of itself. But the iron content in meat is approximately half of what it was a few decades ago. The calcium level in broccoli is a quarter of what it used to be. So, why? Why the change? Well, the predominant reason is soil depletion. Um, as through modern farming, the nutrients of the soil are just being soaked out and just depleted, and they're not being replenished. Back in the day, they used to do rotating crops, so that wasn't always the same crop on the same land, allowing the land to become more fertile and healthy and give more to the plants. Well, now the plants are essentially growing on starved soil. So they're not packed with nutrients like they used to. So that's something to keep in mind as well, that an orange is not an orange is not an orange anymore. So, what do you need to know? What can you do? First of all, read the labels. Watch for hidden sugars, watch for GMO or genetically modified ingredients. Look at the fat and cholesterol levels in the food. I'm not saying change what you eat. Okay. Again, this is not about preaching to you change what you eat. It's being aware. Did you know you can look at two different um we'll just take pasta sauce. Okay. Pasta sauce is a notoriously known for hidden sugars, as is ketchup and a lot of tomato based products. So if you want to eat a regular pasta sauce with your pasta, that's fine. But check the labels. It may be just switching a brand. Just the simple thing of looking at your label and seeing what has the better ingredients, what doesn't have hidden sugars, can really make a difference. Those little changes can make a huge difference. And I challenge you, because if you go to the store and you start looking at the labels on the foods you currently buy, I think you will be shocked at what's in there and what you are actually putting in your body, including those foods that you really thought were healthy. So, again, not trying to discourage you, just trying to raise awareness. So, I challenge you to go and do that. Oh, sorry, my next slide didn't pop up here. There we go. So, several years ago, a couple decades ago now, I actually worked at a grocery store. And when we did, scanning was there. It wasn't that long ago. They did have bar scanning, but the produce had the little labels. And back then, it was literally just those little labels with the four numbers on them, and they're called a PLU, or a product lookup code. And they haven't changed. So, for example, I remember when I was learning, you had to memorize all these, right? So you could be efficient. And I remember bananas being 4011, and that's because the 1 1 on the 11 made me think of two bananas. So to this day, if you go to the store and you see regular bananas and the PLU number is 4011. So food for thought. Anyway, so nowadays we have a whole lot more options. So as you can see on the right there, conventionally grown foods have 4-digit codes, generally starting with a number 3 or a number 4. Conventionally grown just means that they are being used regular synthetic fertilizers, pesticides, everything else. The organic is orange. Remember that O for organic. It's a 5-digit code, generally starting with the number 9. And the difference there being organic foods, certified organic foods, are used are grown using natural fertilizers, for example, manure and such, versus the synthetic chemicals. So, just as a side note, herbicides and pesticides are petroleum products. For those that don't know, petroleum products, aka oils, like you put in your vehicles. Okay. So, not really good to go inside your body. And lastly, genetically modified. This is newer. This is purple on the label. It's a 5-digit code that starts with the number 8. Genetically modified, for those that aren't aware, also called GMO. These are made by implanting DNA from one type of plant into another to change the characteristics. Okay, I'm not going to preach on GMOs one way or the other. I just want to share a little information so you can make your own choices. And just know that animal studies have indicated that GMOs may cause serious health risks, including infertility and immune problems, as well as changes in the organs. And just a few facts that I find a little bit scary. These are based in 2020. 94% of the soy and 92% of corn planted in the United States was GMO. And I want you to think back to what I said at the very beginning about corn, soy, wheat, and rice being the basis of our American diet. Okay. And corn and soy almost exclusively is GMO. Okay. Just food for thought. So, your meat, where your meat eats matters. Why does it matter? Well, kind of like we talked about earlier with the stripping of the soils with our vegetables, and the fact that our current meat has less than half the iron content that it did a couple decades ago. You can get better quality meat. So, for example, grass-fed beef, they are not given any hormones or antibiotics. They have 7 times the omega-3 fats as farm-raised beef. So farm-raised beef really have hardly any. Feedlot beef, which is unfortunately how the majority of beef is grown that's in the supermarkets, they're fed that GMO soy-based grain. So again, what they eat goes into them, and then if you eat them, that goes into you. Because of the unsanitary conditions in the feedlots, they're basically on dry lots where they're just pooping everywhere and living in it. there is a high rate of infection. And in order to combat that infection, they're given a steady dose of antibiotics. And a fun fact here, approximately 70% of the antibiotics made in the United States today goes to feedlot animals. So, same kind of applies to fish and seafood. You want to choose wild caught fish over farm raised fish. And this picture gives you a little bit of an indication on how you can tell, with the wild caught fish being a darker, more natural orangey pink. The lines are more close together within the layers of the meat, where the farm raised, it's a little mushier. It tends to be orange. They actually put coloring in it to give it kind of a fake pinkish color. Again, more chemicals. So that's something to be aware of when you're looking at fish in the store and where your fish is coming from. So, fish can be an excellent source of protein and omega fats. Just make sure you're getting the fresh caught, not the farm raised. So, keep in mind this information is not meant to scare or discourage you. It's meant to help you be aware so that you can make choices. So, remember, you don't know what you don't know. But now that you do know, you have the power to make choices that can help you take control of your health. So remember, you get to choose. So choose wisely. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found some valuable information from this. I'm going to be doing a lot of in depth little pieces that will take this a little bit further. So if you want to make sure you reach or keep up on those, you can subscribe below. You can also follow me on either Facebook and or Instagram. Both of them are at Tina Hergert RN. And I'm getting a TikTok channel up, but that'll be a little bit, that technology on those reels. We'll get there. Also, I just released a habit stacking guide for the new year, and it's a free guide for you. I'm going to include the link below. So if you want to take a look at that, it's basically a way to help you just create new healthy habits without the stress of and overwhelmment, I guess, that most people face when they're trying to create a new habit. It makes it really quick and easy. This is a proven method, proven technique that helps you make lifelong changes. So feel free to grab your free guide below as well. Until next time, stay healthy and take control of your life. Thanks for watching.